Welcome to For the Love of Books, a podcast by North Lanarkshire Libraries. Hi everyone, welcome back to the North Lanarkshire Libraries podcast For the Love of Books. My name is Chris Wilson, the eServices Librarian, and this morning I am joined by two members of our LogintoLearn team, Ekaterine, who is a digital assistant, and Phyllis, who is one of our digital learning officers as well. And the reason they have joined me this morning for the podcast is because they have been doing some fantastic work raising awareness of the scams and also kind of trying to how to protect yourself online and on social media and things like that. So I thought I would get them along to kind of try and highlight some of those things because they are very, very important and people really kind of need to know what they're looking for whenever it comes to these things. So welcome to the podcast, guys. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us, Chris.
Thank you.
Fantastic, and it's been great to see the work that you guys have been doing on this, and both online and kind of in person in Cumbernauld as well, which has been fantastic. Catherine, why do you think it's been so important for people to be aware of scams and what to look out for?
Well, a scam is a clever and dishonest plan for making money, and we have to remember that it is a crime. According to the Citizens' Advice in June 2021, 36 million Brits were targeted by the scammers. So there is no specific age range. They target everyone. But while over 55s are most likely to be targeted, those 34 and under are almost 5 times more likely to fall victim to a scam. So our advice will be to look at the emails and the messages with the suspicions, as some may look as original, but sometimes it may have some typos or asking to us act quickly or make a quick decision to the payment, looking for some kind of the pressurizing tonality in the text. So if you get such a type of the message or email, our advice will be to stop and rethink before the replying.
Yeah, I mean those numbers for like the stats and things are quite incredible. I mean, I don't think anyone would ever imagine that there's quite so prevalent. Phyllis, there's quite a lot of targeted for that, isn't there?
There is. I mean, I'm kind of in the sort of average person position that I've got parents in their 80s, siblings in their 60s. My sister will love me for that one. I'm considerably younger, by the way, and kids that are teenagers. So I kind of see it right across the age ranges as well, and see everything from the phone call to say your computer's got a virus, to somebody chapping the door and saying I'm here to read your meter, to the fake friends on Facebook and other social media avenues. So from that point of view, the different social media elements, people have been hit in different ways. And there's so many different ways that you're going to get a scam artist coming in and trying to access you and your information, and potentially, as Ekaterine said, your bank account.
Yeah, and that's the big one really when it gets to that kind of level really. As you mentioned, it comes in lots of different forms as well. What are some of the most common types? I know you mentioned a few there, but is there any other ones that people need to kind of watch out for, Catherine, that hasn't been kind of mentioned there with Phyllis?
Yeah, that's right. A scam comes in many shapes: email, letter, phone call, or in person. So the most common scams are computer scams, as Phyllis mentioned. Fake lotteries, romance scams are very popular, prize draws as well. So 54% of the scams were fake deliveries last year, and 41% were by someone pretending to be from the government, and 12% were by someone offering the fake investment. According to the Friends Against the Scam, that is initiative by the National Trading Standards Scam Team, more than 5 million people a year fall victim to the scam. But what is the more importantly, only 5% of the scams are reported. This is a serious problem because the people usually do not know where to report or how to report. Nowadays, the most popular scams that people can watch are COVID scams, that usually sent by the text message saying that you've been in close contact with someone who had recently tested positive and asking to order the PCR test via fraud website. In this case, our advice will be to watch out the word used Omicron rather than COVID-19, and do not press on any provided link. And if you know how to delete your message, please do so.
Yeah, and that's another amazing thing about the scams as well, is how they do actually kind of they constantly change, and they go after the kind of latest thing that's really out there. They're very quick at kind of updating what they're kind of they're sort of targeting and who they're targeting, and the sort of latest thing that's the kind of main thing that people might be worried about or kind of concerned about and might get caught out a bit with as well. You know, it's amazing how they can kind of keep up to date like that, Phyllis, and keep yourself going.
Absolutely. I mean, last year, because so many of us had been working from home, we were getting information from our employers and through government websites and whatnot saying if you've worked X number of days from home, you're entitled to a tax rebate.
Mm-hmm.
So fair enough, you go in and fill in whatever you have to do. But I received several text messages saying you're due a tax rebate, and you're thinking, wait a wee minute, I don't have this. This is a new mobile phone number. This is a new number that I've got. Where did you find it? Where have I put my number that you were able to get my phone number and send me this text that it looks so real, it looks so genuine, it's titled, it looks like it's genuinely come from HMRC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's quite worrying when you see things like that you have obviously entered your phone number somewhere, and it's something that we maybe need to be a bit more careful with.
Yeah, and I think it's an easy thing to do and kind of give that information out and then, like you say, it's available it becomes available for people
Absolutely.
to abuse, really.
Mm-hmm.
Now this year as well is a kind of big major year for Scotland, because we do have the census coming up very, very soon, and I would imagine, like we were just talking about there, that people do go after the latest thing that's going out, and this may be something that people will have to watch out for, because I would imagine, obviously, the census, you're giving out a lot of personal details in it, and you want to make sure you're giving it out to the right people. Is there anything that people should watch out for, Ekaterine, when it comes to scams regarding the census?
Yes, many people around already started to filling up the census online, and fraudsters may contact via text message, letter, or email. We don't know, but they may ask the personal information or to pay the fine. They may say that some information is missing from your census, or there is an error. Census was not received, or you will be fined if it's not completed. So our advice will be that do not click if there is any link provided, and always remember the census only will recontact you if you requested it previously. So, but if you are still not sure, you can always call National Record of the Scotland on 0131 202 0451 and to discuss your specific matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've now done my census return the other day, which I was very excited about. I've got a bit geeky about filling out all the details, I have to admit, but you receive the letter and it's got the kind of code and things like that, and that's probably the most important thing, is that if you are going to fill it out online, which is the main way I believe that they're doing it this year, is to kind of really use that letter and that code to kind of as the access point to get through, because that code will be unique to your household, and that's the kind of probably the main way of kind of stopping these problems. And like say, Ekaterine, contacting the correct places to get the most up-to-date information and specific information from them as well. Now, what advice would you guys have for anyone who has become a victim of a scam that they've kind of realised, like, there's £1,000 at their bank account that they didn't actually use and they can't figure out why? What's the kind of sort of main advice if you've kind of came across something like that, and where's the starting point to get help?
First off, don't panic.
Yeah.
Don't ignore it. Speak to your bank straight away. If you're not sure, give us a wee shout. We'll point you in the right direction. But you'll find that your bank, building society, whoever looks after your pennies for you, have got a really good anti-fraud team, and they will do everything they can to help you.
Yeah, I mean, banks are doing a lot of work in terms of trying to even actually stop it before it even gets to that point, really. I mean, I think we've all probably had the point where we've been buying something online and it's maybe stopped because they want to check that it's definitely you that's doing it. And there's, I think they've even introduced newer methods to kind of improve that a bit more as well.
My bank card actually got cancelled. I went to use it and they're saying, no, your card's not valid. You have to phone your banking provider. And I thought, this is a bit strange. And I phoned them and they said, we believe your card has been cloned. So we've cancelled it. We've issued you a new one and it'll be with you within the next 2 days. And the bank were absolutely fantastic and told me to watch out for all the wee incidentals that they'll try and check and see that your bank account's still live. So watch over the next 6 or 8 weeks. You might see small direct debits. And they did, in fact, create some charitable direct debits in my name for Greenpeace, Oxfam and Shelter. They register for all of them. And apparently this is quite a common thing that they do just to ensure that the bank account is still valid, because your bank card, obviously, it's got the 16-digit number that you use for purchases, but it's also got your bank account details, so they can set up a direct debit in your name as well. So from that point of view, the fraud team were absolutely fantastic, really helpful.
Yeah, I've had similar kind of experiences as well. I remember sitting in the doctor's here where I live, and my phone rang and I answered it, and it was a bank saying, "Did you just try and book a hotel room in London?" And I was like, "No." And seemingly somebody had been in London trying to book a hotel room on me, which my bank very happily turned down, which was very good. They picked up on it, which was fantastic.
Sometimes you may get such a phone calls pretending that they are calling from the bank as well, and telling that it was a suspicious action taken on your account, and then actually scammers can tell you that you have to move your account to the safer account. So this also can be the scam. So if there is something related to the bank, as the Phyllis said, yes, first of all, you have to contact your bank to deal with it, but same time you also can report any scam to the police by calling 101. And Advice Direct Scotland also is a good number, 0808 164 6000, or Scotland Citizens Advice Helpline is also 0800 028 1456. And if you get scammed via Facebook as well, Facebook also has very good help center where you can report if your account has been hacked or your friend's account has been hacked, or report any account for impersonation as well.
I didn't realise that Facebook actually had that. That's really interesting as well. And that is something you do kind of see more and more, actually, like people either kind of like the fake kind of friends requests that come through, or maybe messages coming through on Messenger with links to things saying, "Oh, I saw you in this video," with a link to it and things like that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And many people do fall for that kind of stuff. So it's good that a company like Facebook do have good kind of protocols in place to kind of sort of help in that situation. It's really interesting. Another little story regarding a personal, it wasn't a scam actually, it was more going back to the kind of the bank kind of being very helpful. I remember going Christmas shopping one year and into Glasgow, and I went round and bought all my Christmas shopping in one go, and then just before I went back to the train station, I went to buy the cheapest thing ever. It was a magazine. It was a comic for my wife as a bit of a joke present. It was a Wonder Woman comic, and it was
because Laura is Wonder Woman.
Exactly, and
absolutely,
and it was $1.99, and I had spent had bought all my Christmas shopping in one go, and then the bank refused to let me buy the £1.99 comic because that was pushing it over the limit of how many times I could use my card that day or something like that. And I was like, oh no, and I had to use another bank card to buy my Wonder Woman comic. So there you go. But it's all to kind of help you keep your account safe and kind of make sure that it's not somebody else who's running around the streets of Glasgow purchasing everything on you. So it was good in a way. It highlighted that there are kind of processes in place that kind of hopefully help people in those situations. Now, another topic that you guys have been covering with some of your sessions that you've been doing has been basically how to stay safe online in general and on social media as well. What are your top tips for staying safe online and using social media?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I would advise to think twice before click to any links, which is very important. And in social media, I try to follow only the genuine account that are usually having kind of blue tick on the right side of the name. And one of the most important things to protect yourself are to create a strong passwords. That could be the combination of the lowercase, uppercase number and the special symbols.
Yeah, and I think the password thing is a big thing because so many people use really simple passwords that obviously they do it to make it nice and easy for them to remember, but then it also makes it very, very easy for people to get into as well, unfortunately.
Yes, I understand it is easy to use as basic passwords for all of accounts as well for easy access, but it's better to be safe rather than sorry later on.
Yeah.
So make the stronger passwords, please.
Phyllis, have you got any tips that you would throw out for people?
I do. As Ekaterine said, one of your most important things is your safe password. So you're making sure nobody's getting into your account. But then you go into your account and you post something, and you post a photograph of your kids on their first day at school. And they're standing at the front door, all happy with their school uniform on and their blazer with the school badge. The door numbers in the background, and just in the corner of the photo, you can see the street name on the side of your house.
Yeah.
So when you're posting information, think about who's seeing it. Lots of us have got our accounts set at private that only friends can see things, but there are also a huge number of us that just have everything open to the world. Plus, you don't know who's screenshotting something and potentially sending it on. So when you're posting something, think about what you're posting and think about what information somebody can get from that. Can they find out what school your child goes to? From that, can they find out roughly the area that you're in? So they know where your street is and they know where you live. And then when you post to say, that's us in Glasgow Airport, 2 weeks in the sun. So that's them, they've got 2 full weeks to break into your house.
Yeah.
Just think about what you're doing. Just think.
My experience is that people are opening the Facebook accounts actually, and they do not know how to set the privacy settings on to friends or a very small group or friends of friends on a Facebook. So if you are not sure how to do that, you are always welcome to come and talk with the Login2Learn team. And we are having the informational sessions as well time to time that you can attend and keep an eye on the our website or social media.
Yeah. Another thing being, once you've set your settings up as private, don't assume that that's them done, because Facebook will occasionally run privacy and security updates, and sometimes these updates knock your settings off a wee bit. So it's well worth going in maybe just every couple of weeks and checking just exactly where your settings are and are they exactly where you had left them.
Yeah, because that is something that I think I have noticed before that whenever a sort of update to Facebook's happened or something like that, it has changed some of the settings that have, and sometimes quite bizarrely as well. Like,
yeah,
I've had times where it's maybe changed it to like it's only actually visible to me, like, and which is a setting I can't quite understand. Why would I want to post something on Facebook that only I can see? But you know, it's a bit of a strange one. But yeah, it's definitely and Facebook in particular, I think, do sometimes make it quite complicated to kind of, because there's so many different kind of privacy settings that you can kind of set various things to friends only, friends of friends, and everybody, and it's broken down into quite a lot of different categories as well. So it's one that I think is kind of worth kind of checking and make sure that everything is in a line and making sure that you're definitely kind of set the way that you want it to be. Do you have any specific advice for parents who might be concerned about their children and teens using internet on smartphones and things like that? Obviously, smartphones have become such a big major thing. Teens, I'm sure, nationwide have all got their hands on them, most of them, and have got access to the internet in their pocket. And I can understand that parents must have nightmares sometimes about what they can actually get access to on there without maybe really kind of realising that they can kind of lock that down a little bit more for them. So, we get any advice for parents about that?
Yeah, you're right, Chris. Nowadays, many kids get mobile devices at an early age. And it is crucial to develop healthy digital habits as early as possible and teach the kids the right balance between the digital engagement and the time spent offline, by reducing the screen time or allowing to watch age-appropriate content and set up the parental control. We recently had the parental control, the presentation informational session at Cumbernauld Library, but we are planning to have another sessions later, maybe the next month. So please watch it and follow us on our social media if you would like to attend for the next time. It's really important, and we'll be discussing the Google Family links. It's very easy to set up, and it's very easy to control for you as a parent as well.
Fantastic. Phyllis, have you got anything you want to add as parent advice? Having kids and things yourself?
Well, that's it. You know, they are so good at circumventing the security measures that you put on. So getting the right security measures for your kids is absolutely crucial. But one of the things that I've found most useful, certainly with my own kids, is to educate them and to make them aware of the things that happen online. Now, we've all heard horror stories. We've all seen things in the news, on the TV, on various different programmes about the things that can go wrong. So there is a national crime agency that are called CEOP, so it's Child Exploitation and Online Protection Team.
Yeah.
And they provide training, resources and information for children, young people, their families, people who work for them. They have a fantastic website, and the website is thinkyouknow.co.uk. There are materials that are age appropriate, so they have categories for 4 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 to 13, 14 plus. They have materials that are specific for parents and carers, and they have materials that are specific for children's workforce. And they also have a really fantastic facility that is the CEOP eye and a big red button that says report abuse.
Yeah.
And if you come across something that you know is wrong, that you know is endangering a child, a young person, hit the report abuse button and let them know about it.
Yeah, that CEOP click button is on our online catalogue as well, so you'll see that at the
Yay!
bottom of our online catalogue if you want to have a look and find it. And it takes you through to the safety centre of the CEOP website as well. So that's something you can have a look to see what the icon actually looks like if you want to have a look, and kind of watch out for that as well, and kind of report anything that you think is worthwhile reporting. So you guys have been doing lots of fantastic stuff, as we've mentioned, with all the things we'll be talking about, but there's been a few other things as well, and I'm sure you guys have got some exciting stuff in the pipeline going forward as well. So this is your chance to plug what's coming up for you guys. So what have you got in
Definitely over to Ekaterine. She is our innovation star at the moment, so off you go.
Thank you,
No
Phyllis.
pressure.
So LogintoLearn team are planning, yes, to have informational drop-in session about the scams at Cumbernauld Library next Tuesday, 22nd of March, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we'll be discussing the latest scams, prevention, and reporting. And next month, as I mentioned already, we will be launching one more information session for parents, how to set up the parental control of their children's mobile devices as well. So watch the space.
Fantastic. And what I wanted to also touch on this podcast a little bit is because it is normally a book podcast, and we have obviously been talking about loads of important stuff today, but we haven't touched on the important topic of books. So I'm going to kind of ask you, what have you guys been reading recently, and have you found anything that you've really kind of would recommend to anyone? So Phyllis, let's have you first. What have you been enjoying recently?
Well, you know that I'm into urban fantasy and I like to read about the apocalypse and the zombie invasion and whatnot.
Who
And
doesn't?
well, you know, it's just one of those things, you know, we need to be prepared when the zombies come to get us.
Exactly.
But what I've actually gone back to recently, and I'm blaming you for this when you asked about what I had read as a child, and I was trying to find what I had read as a child, and the book that I came across, which I'm on about my 5th or 6th copy of it now, is Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And what does it say on the front? Don't panic. And if anything's appropriate to what we do in LogintoLearn, just bringing books back to the digital side, if anything's appropriate, it's don't panic. Absolutely love it.
And Ekaterine, what have you been reading recently? Would you recommend it?
Well, I don't remember how I came across to this book, but I've recently read the book called Nixon. It's a Dutch art of doing nothing. It's by Olga Mecking, the writer, journalist, and a translator who moved to Netherlands recently and found this traditional art of doing nothing that actually helps to prevent the burnouts and makes your work more productive. So this is a book for everyone who finds that being busy nowadays are easier than being free, including myself. So it's hard to find the time to do some nicks, but as author is recommending and saying that Dutch people are actually very good at scheduling the things. And Nixon also can be written in your diary, same way as appointments or any other meetings. So you may say it's something similar to the mindfulness, but actually it is not, because the Nixon is described as anti-mindfulness, as it does not require you to be aware of your body, your breath, your present movements, or your thoughts. Instead, you can use it for the opposite. You can use it to escape into your head and just get lost for a while in there. So who knows? Maybe the Nixon this is the small secret why the Dutch people are in the top happiest nations in the world. So
maybe
that's definitely going on my to be read list, because my non-fiction product at the moment is the organised mum method. And if you could see my desk at the minute, you could see that I've really just started. Apparently, she says that you can organise your life in 30 minutes a day.
Well, I'm not sure.
I'll come back to you on that one.
You need to let us know if it works. Because like you, my desk is slowly but surely becoming very much unorganised at this moment in time. But I've actually been managing to keep my desk quite organised for a long time. I used to get I'm still working from home for the listeners, and whenever I worked at Motherwell Library, my desk was always a bit of a riot. It used to be a bit of a running joke, and I kept it quite tidy for a while, but it's getting a little bit. I think I will have to have a little bit of a spruce up of it soon, or I might get chucked out of my space for being untidy sometime soon. But I thought I would throw in a little bit of a spoiler alert for the podcast, because the book that I've been reading recently is Find Her First by Emma Christie, and the reason why that's a spoiler alert is because very soon we will be having an interview with Emma Christie on the podcast, which is very, very
fantastic.
cool. And so I'm reading her new book to kind of find out about it, so I can have a good chat about that very, very soon. So hopefully you can watch out for that episode coming up in the next few weeks or months. And we can kind of get a good wee chat about that, and hopefully that'll be a good wee insight into that author for you. She's a good up and coming Scottish crime author, and I think everyone who reads it will love it. I'm kind of about halfway through, and it is a fantastic novel so far, so I'm sure it'll be loved by loads of folk that read it, which will be fantastic.
Okay, well, we'll stick that on the to be read list as well, and we'll send you some questions.
Yeah, feel free. And any listeners who have read it, in fact, actually before, if you can get them in in time, feel free to let us know online, and we can put the questions to her as well, which would be nice as well. That's pretty much time up for the podcast, guys. Thank you very much for filling us in and so much fantastic information regarding scams and staying safe online and things like that. It's fantastic. In terms of our service, we do have a few wee updates coming. There is more BookBug sessions either already started or coming very, very soon. And we all know how much everyone loves BookBug. It's one of the most favourite activities, I think, in our libraries. And you can find out all the latest information about BookBug if you go to culturenl.co.uk/BookBug. Another very exciting piece of e-library news for you is that we have finally got e-newspapers as well in the form of press reader via the Libby app.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's really good.
If you download the Libby app, you'll see the press reader banner in the app once you sign in. You sign in using your library card details, and it takes you to the press reader website where you get access to literally thousands of international, national, and even a few local papers and publications. So you can get your fix of either international news. You can get I think it's the Washington Post, I think it's on there. All the kind of usual big kind of national ones like the Guardian and things like that's on there. And there's also a few local papers as well, so you can kind of check out a few local bits of news. And if you want to find out a little bit more about Libby and Press Reader, you can go to culturenl.co.uk/Libby, and you'll find out how to get the app. And once you sign in, you can get into Press Reader no problem from there. And another bit of exciting e-library news, because me being the e-services librarian, this is what I get very, very excited about, is that e-magazines are also now came to BorrowBox as well. So we have lots of e-magazines on Libby, but there are now some available on BorrowBox as well, so you can access both ebooks, e-audiobooks, and now e-magazines on BorrowBox as well, which is fantastic news. So do have a look at that and check that out, and let us know what you think of it on our social media as well, so you can have a look there too. But that's about all for us today, guys. If you have enjoyed this podcast, do leave us some feedback using the hashtag FLBpodcast, or by dropping us an email at librarypodcast@northland.gov.uk, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.